少なくとも私が守る世界に彼女は必要不可欠です。
Sun's glow. Rays of sunlight shines in through the lattices of the window, filling the entire classroom with a misty, gleaming brilliance. It is said that the founder of the Cloud Break site named this place the Sun's Globe after seeing the magnificent scenery here.
昔、宗州夢に胡蝶となる。久然として胡蝶なり。自ら楽しみて、志に叶えるかな。衆なるを知らざるなり。
A man walks out reciting old verses. The aura around him seems to stand out even amidst the golden sunlight. He is dressed in white with billowing golden hems. Though his expression is calm, you can't take your eyes off him.
姉弟子まだ見飽きないんですか
You suddenly hear a voice in your head. Seemingly afraid you won't notice her, the girl who used the voice projection spell turns back to look at you with a smile. Kiki, you have some nerve using a voice projection spell like that in front of my master. Aren't you worried you're going to get caught? The Cloud Bright set has been active for almost a millennium. By the time King Jin Heavenly Lord Neil took over as head of the sect, there were already thousands of disciples. In addition to your master, Kun Wuchu Lord Artem, the head of the sect also has several other direct disciples. Junior disciple Kiki is studying under one such disciple.
怖いもの知らずなんてとんでもない。だから姉弟子も共犯者にしているんじゃないですか。
As soon as Artem's clothes brush up against the edge of your table, you hear Kiki's voice again.
朝の講義の後って何か予定ありますもし大丈夫なら、新たに捕まった霊獣を見に行きませんかロクタンといって、すごく変な顔してるらしいですよ。
I think I have to pass. I need to cultivate.
姉弟子は頑張りすぎですよ。気持ちはわかりますけど、超限の境地に至るなんて一朝一夕ではできませんし。それに、姉弟子が鍛えているのは霊言術ですよね。そんな術が使える人間なんて姉弟子だけなんですから、焦る必要はないと思いますよ。
As Kiki rumbles on, you remind yourself she doesn't have any ill intent, but this is something that's been weighing heavily on your heart for a long time. Even the slightest disruption caused by mention of it puts you in a state of fight or flight.
心配いりませんよ。姉弟子の師匠は世界一の剣の使い手ですからね。あのお方なら、きっとすごいご法をかけてくださるでしょうし、境地の突破の際に前に見落とすこともないはずです。
You joined the set later than me, but you've already made it to the Chao Yuan realm. I'm the only one still stuck in the Juding realm. Considering how powerful my master is, that's exactly why I need to work harder as his apprentice. Kiki describes your cultivation journey as a road leading to vast possibilities. However, you are the only one who knows just how difficult the path ahead will be. You dream of scaling an unimaginable cliff, longing to reach the precipice. You don't want to follow the path your master has laid out for you. You want...
知らず、衆の夢に胡蝶となれるか。胡蝶の夢に衆となれるかを。
Interrupting his serious ponderings, Artem raises his head and looks at you as if he suddenly senses something. When your eyes meet, you feel like he can read your thoughts. Somehow, you mistakenly chose him as the target of your voice projection spell. Kiki catches on after observing the odd atmosphere between you and Artem, quickly turning around and sitting upright. Unsure if you should look away, you are mesmerized until Artem walks closer, glances at you, and passes
集
by.
中しなさい。
He also uses a voice projection spell. His words are soft, but he has already left. He acts as if he didn't hear anything, but it was clear he had heard everything. By the time your morning classes end, the one sunny sky has already turned grey. Dark clouds block the sun rays as it gradually begins to rain. With that, your fellow disciples start summoning magic weapons and flying away. Before you can discern which disciples have made the most progress recently, an umbrella block your line of sight.
戻るぞ。
Artem is holding a bamboo umbrella over your head. Even though he stands at the foot of the steps, he looks down at you with an unclear expression. You nod in agreement, following him into the misty rain as your master shifts the umbrella closer. Cloud-bright mountain path. Though the rain isn't heavy, the mist is quite thick. The path behind and in front of you is swallowed up in the fog, leaving only each step you to take visible.
何か考え事か？
Well, I was thinking that you must have used this umbrella for a long time, Master. The handle is already smooth. Artem suddenly interrupted while you were still immersed in your morning classes, so you just came out with an excuse in response.
これはちょうど君が弟子入りした時に作ったものだ。当時の君はまだ聖術も使えず、雲海山の天気も変わりやすかったから使えるように作っておいたんだ。こうして持ち歩く癖がついたのも、君がいつまでたっても傘を携帯せず、私が迎えに行くようになったからで。
There are many ways for cultivators to resist the elements. Even though you have learned several of these techniques, you've always preferred to squeeze under this bamboo umbrella with him. As you consider this, you notice that Artem's shoulder is wet. Your eyes are drawn to the water spot that was most likely caused by the tilted umbrella. Mind and spirit as one, with these words disappear. You silently recite a spell using spirit language magic. In an instant, Artem's damp clothes are suddenly dry and clean.
こんなことに霊言術を使うとは。
Master, you should be walking around with clean clothes. If they get damaged because of me, I should be held responsible. Upon hearing this dramatic confession, Artem chuckles. This close, you can even feel the laugh vibrating in his chest. Master, during morning classes...
死後で怒られると思ったか？
Yeah, I don't want to disappoint you, Master.
君のことでがっかりするなどあるはずがないだろう。
Master, you always see that. You look at him under the umbrella. Behind him, a curtain of rain and the swirling mist serve as a backdrop.
修行をしている者ならば道を重んじるべきだ。もしかすると君が境地を突破できずにいるのも己の道が定まっていないからかもしれないな。目先のことにとらわれてばかりいると初心を忘れて取り返しのつかないことになってしまうぞ。
His words mix with the sound of rain. It feels somewhat unreal, and you can't help but move closer. Master, your path of cultivation leads you to protect the common people. As your disciple, I naturally also... Artem stops and turns around to face you. The umbrella he is holding doesn't waver at all.
人にはそれぞれ向き不向きがある。必ずしも私と同じである必要はない。
But I... It's difficult to put your thoughts into words, unaware of what you even want to say. You simply find yourself refusing him. It's true that master and disciple don't necessarily need to follow the same path, but that also doesn't mean they can't.
自分なりの考えがあるのはいいことだが、焦りすぎて道を踏み外しては元も子もないからな。
I'll always remember what you taught me, master.
そう悩むことはない。私の方から証文に君のことを占うよう頼んでおいた。きっと何とかなるだろう。
Artem's tone softens. All these years as pastor and disciple, he's never gotten used to completely lecturing you as a teacher. Every time he starts lecturing, he ends with soft, caring words. You are about to respond when thunder booms overhead. A red light spreads across the sky, originating in the same direction, reminding you of blood. Master, that's...
証文の豆腐。経過官の方角だ。
The red light reflected in Artem's eyes makes it even more difficult to tell what he's thinking.
行ってみよう。
Artem uses a teleportation spell, allowing you to immediately travel to Sky Glow Crest. As soon as you arrive, you see several elder masters rushing over due to the strange aberration in the sky. After greeting one another, a voice sounds from the cavern, illuminated with red light.
今後か。入れ。
Kunwu refers to a magic weapon that can slice through iron and jade, so it's a perfect title for someone with incredible swordsmanship. Master. Looking at the bright red light, you can't help feeling uneasy. Artem stops as you call out to him, looking back.
今後の弟子か。一緒に入っていいぞ。
承知しました。
Artem nods, gesturing for you to follow him. Sky Glow Crest. After entering Sky Glow Crest, you notice the blood red light has weakened. However, the area is in chaos and there are large spirit power fluctuations. As expected, King Heavenly Lord Neil has suffered repercussions.
師匠、ご挨拶申し上げます。
Disciple Shara humbly requests your time, Master.
かけなさい。
Jinjin Heavenly Lord Neil, the head of the sect, has always lived a secluded life. The younger disciples only know him as someone who defines both life and death, predicting all occurrences. With that, you always thought he was a grey-haired monk with an otherworldly aura. Unexpectedly, he looks like a typical middle-aged man from the mortal realm, most likely due to his cultivation.
君とは初めてだったな。見苦しいところを見せてすまない。
Neil finally opens his eyes from his meditation, appearing somewhat tired.
師匠、一体何があったのです。この奇妙な現象は一体、災いの前触れですか。
未来の余地には相応の危険が伴う。先ほどのは私が未来を見た代償だよ。お前を孫弟子と一緒に入れた理由もそれで大方理解できただろう。
境地の突破に関する占いをするだけでどうしてこのようなことに。
Remembering what Arthur mentioned just a few minutes prior, you are astonished.
まずお前の弟子が持つ霊言術は古くから伝わる秘術で秘められている力も計り知れないものだった。
With a wave of Neil's hand, three teacups fly through the air and land on the table. The green tea inside is still steaming hot.
私も境地に関することを占ったつもりだったが、まさか人間界に起きる厄災を見てしまうとはな。近い将来、古より封印されてきた魔尊がよみがえり、魔界の住民が3界、冥界、天界、人間界を滅ぼしに来るらしい。 そうなれば最後、人間たちはなすすべもなく蹂躙され、血の海が広がることになるだろう。
Seemingly confirming this sentiment, the thunder sounds once again. The uneasiness you felt before grows more and more intense. Master, do you mean this has something to do with my breakthrough to the next realm?
その通りだ。これらの厄災を鎮められる唯一の手段。それが君だ。
Neil raises his hand slightly, causing one of the teacups to shift toward you.
ショーン？それは誠ですか？
Artem reaches out to stop the teacup. A few drops of tea splashes onto the table, reminding you of the rain that wet his shoulder before.
私の弟子はまだ超限の境地にも至っておりません。世界を救うなど。
今はできぬかもしれないが、今後もそうだとは限らない。ただ、私からも確認させてほしい。孫弟子よ。もしもの時、君にその覚悟はあるか？
Of course.
即答とはな。強制ではない。よく考えてから答えてもいいのだぞ。
Master Artem sees the people of this role as his responsibility. After studying under him for this long time, I've naturally taken that on as my own vision too. But what Master Artem said is true. Mount cultivation still isn't well developed.
力の有無を案じているなら心配はいらない。君は人間界から来たものだ。故郷に帰れば全てが解決するだろう。
Is that simple?
ああ、本質というものは往々にして当事者には見えないようになっているものだ。
I understand. Artem goes silent again after saying your name, as if he has returned to his resigned self under the umbrella.
左京、あの日私が訪ねた時、お前がどう返事をしたか、まだ覚えているか？
もちろんです。天下に道あらば、道をもって身に準じ。天下に道なかれば、身をもって道に準ず。この世の不正を正すためならば、幾度この身を捧げることになろうと、悔いはありません。
His voice is as light as the legendary Kunwu blade, seamless and impenetrable.
師弟揃って同じ考えを持っているのだ。誇りに思うといい。
ですが、
お前は何を心配しているんだ？
彼女は私の弟子です。命に関わることであれば、心配するのは当然のことでしょう。
それは本当に弟子として言っているのか？
私は。
Neil doesn't seem interested in the answer. He simply waves his hand, his tone somewhat strained.
仕方がない。そんなに心配なら、お前も一緒に人間界へ向かうといい。後のことは戻ってからでも遅くはないだろう。
After saying this, he closes his eyes and doesn't continue. The rain outside the window has begun to stop. You no longer need an umbrella on your way back. Sunglass Landing. The sun sets amidst a golden sky merging with twilight clouds as its afterglow descends on the horizon. Various colors are layered over one another, mixing together to create a cohesive hue. You look up at the Jujia tree you planted when you became Artem's disciple. Seeing it flourishing, you can't help feeling happy. It looks like nurturing it with my own spirit power over these years wasn't for nothing. Now I won't need to worry about it, even if I go to the mortal realm. After returning from your discussion with the head of the sect that day, Artem has grown even quieter. Though he didn't stop talking to you, he remained silent whenever you bring up going to the mortal realm. If this keeps up, when are we going to be able to leave for the mortal realm? As this thought keeps resurfacing in your mind, you decide to talk to him again. I already checked the tea room and the study. Where could Master Artem be? Your footsteps slow as you make your way into the corridor. A breeze blows by carrying falling flowers. His long hair splayed across the floor. Artem leans against the corridor wall. His eyes are closed slightly, and he looks to be deep asleep. Master. You call out to him quietly, though you don't want to wake him up, you also don't want to leave. His usual icy brow seems somewhat softer, with strands of hair hanging down in front of it. Those thoughts you try to suppress begin to bubble up again. You remember what Neil asked Artem before, and you repeat his question to yourself. Are we just master and disciple? If he asked you this question, how would you respond? And if you asked Artem, how would he respond? Master, you've never just been a master to me. A petal falls on his brow, raised red as cinnabar, giving you an excuse to move closer. As you reach out to brush it off, Artem slowly wakes up. Perhaps because he only just woke up and is still defenseless, you suddenly feel a surge of courage as your eyes meet. Master, did I do something wrong?
いや、そんなことは。
Artem shakes his head. He reaches up to brush the petal off his brow, but you grab his wrist. He can't avoid it any longer. If Artem had ever wavered, perhaps that time was now. Are you sure? Then why are you always avoiding me? Why do you go quiet whenever I mention the mortal realm? Why do you run away whenever I get close? Did I do something to make you unhappy, Master?
違う。君のせいではない。私はただ、君のことが心配なんだ。人間界での修行も、魔物との対峙も、どれも危険と隣り合わせだ。私はそんな重荷を君に背負わせたくはない。
Artem pulls your hand along as he brushes the petal away. He waits until the wind blows it off his fingertips before looking at you again.
君には何にも縛られず自由でいてほしい。使命からも、もちろん私からもな。何かを守ると口にするのは簡単だが、実際は想像以上に重いものを背負うことになるんだ。
But what if I'm okay with that? You catch the petal before it floats away, placing it back in his palm. I want to protect this world you exist in. I want to stand by your side as you wield your sword to protect the common people.
一緒にか。君はいつもそう言うな。
Artem seemingly remembers something as emotion flashes through his gaze. He slowly closes his palm, careful not to crumple the petal.
君の考えは分かった。行こう。
To the mortal realm?
ああ。
Flowers fall like snowflakes, immediately filling in areas where they were brushed aside. Nanzhou City. You were living in Nanzhou City before joining the Cloudbreak sect. It is surrounded by mountains, water, and breathtaking landscapes. Seeing as Neil didn't specify where exactly you should go, you and Artem decide to head back here first. It's been a really long time since I was last here.
記憶の中の風景と変わりないか。
Well, it's been so long that I don't really remember anymore. Compared to this bustling street, you have already gotten used to the tranquility of the sunset at Sunglu's Landing.
そうか。なら、ひとまず歩いてみるとしよ
The sudden noise of firecrackers coming from a nearby residence swallows up Artem's words. You then hear the lively sounds of festive music, instruments, and singing. Ah, they must be holding a wedding there. Master, you've never seen a mortal wedding, right? Do you want to check it out?
う。そこまで楽しそうに言われたら、断れないな。行こう。
This family is clearly wealthy, and with such a large ceremony, you and Artem inconspicuously blend into the procession scene of the bride. In the mortal world, weddings are always held at dusk. The groom usually picks up his bride at dusk, and the ceremony starts when night falls. Then there is usually a prayer ceremony and a big meal that continues all night long.
詳しいようだが、過去に参加したことがあるのか？
Yeah, it was the first day we met. That night was one of my cousin's weddings. It's okay, Master. I thought I forgot all about it. I didn't expect some things would be so hard to forget. The first time you and Artem met has always been something you two avoid discussing. Before you displayed a particular aptitude for spirit language magic, you always thought of yourself as the happiest girl in Nanzhou City. You live a carefree life with your parents and a family who love you. But that night, you learned you were the chosen one written about in stories. You possess the destined spirit language magic. There is no one else like you in the world, but this special power also opens the door to disaster. Your life was subsequently turned upside down when all of your loved ones fell to infernal cultivators who were after your unique power.
無理に忘れようとしなくてもいい。大切な人の存在は、そうたやすく記憶から消えたりはしない。
At this moment, it feels as if you two are the only two people in the world. He looks at you, his kiss carving itself into your heart.
ところで、あれは、なんだ？
Compared to his elegant swordsmanship, Artem's skill in changing topics is more clunky and straightforward. Even so, you respond by looking in the direction he indicated. That's a special tradition of Nanzhou City, a Baisha lantern ceremony. It's usually put together by the family who is holding the wedding. It adds to the festive atmosphere and represents good fortune. I'm surprised that tradition still exists after so many years.
なるほどな。
Artem nods, leading you over. Guests come and go in their finest clothes, bathed in the light of twinkling lanterns. Walking down the gilded street, the person you care for is by your side.
こっちに。
You and Artem walk side by side through the packed crowd. When someone suddenly shoves past you, Artem quickly wraps you in his arms. He must have forgotten that cultivators like you two can't be injured by such a minor bump.
講師、お花はいかがですか？ぜひ意中の人に送ってあげてください。花の神様のご加護を得て、末永く添い遂げられますように。
A girl carrying a flower basket pulls out a peach blossom branch. Just as you are about to explain, Artem bends down.
ありがとう。だが、私は桃の花だけではなく、
The light shining on his profile makes him look extremely sincere. He looks just like an ordinary man asking the flower goddess to bless him and his beloved.
白梅の花も送ってあげたいんだ。売ってもらえるか？
こちらが最後の一本です。講師はとっても運がいいですね。
The girl quickly pulls the branch out of her basket and hands it to Artem. She then takes his payment with a smile before running off.
ほら、受け取ってくれ。
Master,
豪に言っては豪に従えと言うだろ。
then thank you, Master. The plum blossom branch is wrapped in smooth red silk. You're afraid it could slip out of your hand at any time, so you grip it firmly. As the sounds of music and laughter float through the air, this joyful image slowly reveals the common people you and Artem long to protect. Master, can we really protect all of this? Children giggling, lovers sharing vows, parents giving instructions, friends singing songs. None of them are aware of the looming disaster. But will those aware of it really be able to shoulder such a heavy bond and responsibility?
どうだろうな。
The happiness of this world is reflected in his eyes, along with his desire to uphold his path of
だ
cultivation.
が、私が生きている限り、後ろに立つ彼らには、傷一つつけさせはしない。だから君も、今だけはあれこれ考えず。
He moves closer, light and shadows swirling within his eyes. You feel like he's about to do something, but he only lowers his head and takes the plum blossoms from your hand.
もうすぐ始まる花火を楽しむとしよ
Suddenly, fireworks whisk up and explode like colorful flowers in the night sky. People on the street below all simultaneously look up. As if he is being carried by the wind, Artem flies up into the sky, with his white clothes entwining with the red silk on the plum blossom branch.
あれって仙人様？
まさかきっとお屋敷が用意した余興ですよ。
The crowd erupts in excitement and no one is looking at the fireworks anymore. They only hold their breath as they stare at the figure in white.
う。交際陸にたる我が三尺の剣よ。
With a swift, sharp swing of his wrist, the might of a sword forms around the plum blossom branch. What is he planning on doing?
金を打てどもそうならず、玉を立てば泥となす。
Artem begins to dance, following the rhythm of the poem. The plum blossom branch traces a perfect arc through the air like a sword. It gradually begins to collect light even more radiant than the fireworks.
水においては光流、陸においては左右立つ。
Vibrant light scatters in all directions. The moment the firework explodes, Artem's sword of light also scatters over the crowd like falling stars. Is that infernal energy? The falling light of the sword is like stones being thrown into a lake. However, rather than creating ripples, it kicks up faint traces of an infernal aura. As Artem's movements quicken, fluctuations in the surrounding infernal energy grow more and more obvious. Only then do you understand his goal. It seems like there are already infernal cultivators in this crowd. He must have been afraid of hurting innocent people, so he came up with this approach to use the plum blossom branch as a sword. As for the infernal cultivators, you suppose they might still be after your spirit language magic. Mind and spirit as one, with these words whispers. It would definitely cause a commotion if infernal cultivators suddenly started collapsing in the crowd, which is exactly what Artem wanted to avoid. While everyone is focused on Artem, you quietly use spirit language magic to erase any trace of the infernal cultivators.
三軍の将が首、虚しくするにわずかに一騎。惜しいから、壁にかかりて施すことなし。今こそこれを正しく用いんとす。我まさに憤りを抱きて玉帝に継ぐ。 この剣を手に持ちて上天へと飛びゆかん。
The red sword begins to make a sound along with his movements. It grows faster and faster like a beating drum before finally reaching a climax. As the plum blossom branch drifts in front of him, it blooms with silver lights illuminating the entire street as if it were day. As the remaining infernal energy gradually coalesces, it seems to be moving away from the crowd. Oh no, they're trying to escape. From his position midair, Artem naturally notices this and looks over. The second you and Artem lock eyes, you immediately understand each other's thoughts without needing a voice projection spell. As long as they are here, Nigel will never know peace.
おうぞ。
Artem dashes forward, carrying you away on the wind, leaving countless bystanders bewildered by his magnificent sword dance. Perhaps one of them will write a poem detailing tonight's events that will be handed down for generations, or maybe it will simply become a new Nanzhou City legend. Your heart is still pounding as the infernal energy in front of you leads you toward an extremely familiar yet foreign place. Are they going toward my house? Old house backyard. A bright moon hangs in the sky and you are already far from the lively festivities. It's like you've entered a whole new world. In this silence, you're forced to look inward and face old wounds. No, no way!
どうかしたか？
It's exactly the same as before. You see the pavilion you used to practice calligraphy and play Go under, along with the garden you used to frolic through with the butterflies. The bamboo forest at the end of the corridor was always your favorite place. You enjoyed its cool air in the summer and its warmth in the winter. These memories feel like they happened just yesterday, but all the people in them are already gone. They all died on a silent night just like this one.
妙だな。
Artem grips your hand as if he wants to pull you out of the whirlpool of old memories.
それほどの月日が経っているのであれば、全く同じということはないだろう。まず間違いなく、術が施されている。すぐに五感を閉ざし、心を無にするんだ。
Artem's gentle recitation is like a fresh breeze cleansing your heart, washing away all of your obscure thoughts.
久しいな、今後神君。あの頃よりさらに力を増したか。
The black infernal energy quickly expands, nearly blanketing the entire sky. It condenses into an enormous blade that swings at you too, but it freezes right in front of Artem's brow.
そちらは相変わらずのようだな。
Artem's only furrows his brow slightly, and the infernal energy transforms into countless sharp blades that instantly shoot out in all directions. The blades are unstoppable. Even though some of your enemies are concealed in darkness, the effectiveness of Artem's counterattack is apparent as their formation grows more disorganized.
未だに姿を隠しているとは、よほどひどい見た目をしているようだ。
Artem's eyes darken as his own sword forms in his hands. Known as Desolation, the blade is as sharp as frigid ice.
まあ落ち着けよ、今後神君。
The infernal energy gradually begins to condense into a transparent silhouette from which the leader of the infernal cultivators emerges.
俺のような実力で劣る下っ端が何の策もなくお前と対峙すると思うか。
Before Artem can finish speaking, he begins to rock to the side. If he wasn't holding his sword, he would have fallen to the ground. Master, what's wrong?
今後神君、 幻惑薬の効き目はどうだ。我々が生み出したその飛躍は、私有位の高いものほど強い効き目が出るそうだ。今後神君、それは進められないな。言っただろう。強者であることを示せば示そうと、効果が増すんだ。
How despicable.
言いがかりはやめろ。最後にその薬を手にしたのは、お前の師匠の意志だ。
Voluntarily? What did Artem take? Could it be the plum blossoms? So, that was all deliberate. You purposefully gave yourself away to make my master use his spirit power. It seems like they had been planning from the beginning to lead you and Artem here and then capture you once the medicine took effect.
なかなかに聡明じゃないか。では、次に何をされるかも当てられるか？
後ろに隠れていなさい。
Artem struggles to stand up in front of you, just like he said before. He appears resolute, but you begin to worry that he could collapse in front of you at any moment.
今後神君、悪あがきはよせ。飛躍を使ったのはお前を生かすためでもあるんだぞ。
He steps closer, countless dark shadows appearing behind him.
お前の弟子を素直に渡せば、今回は見逃してやろう。
The all-encompassing infernal energy begins to surge, rushing forward like a rolling wave. It's as if Artem is a lone ship amidst a fierce storm, ready to be swallowed up by the waves in an instant. No!
だが、私が生きている限り、後ろに立つ彼らには、傷一つつけさせはしない。
You didn't know it at the time, but those words were describing a cruel scene just like this one. He stands before the turbulent waves alone. Mind and spirit as one. With these words, you gather all of your spirit energy as you stand at Artem's side. You no longer want to hide behind him, regardless of the weight that protecting something carries. You want to shoulder it with him. You want to stand before everything in this world by his side. Begone, wicked spirits! You hold Artem's hand in an effort to cleanse his mind of the confounding Elazar.
何を？今の君では、そこまで広域な霊言術など使えないはずだ。
Artem's words are ripped to shreds as the infernal energy rages around you.
一体どういうつもりで？
He looks up at you, finally understanding what you intend to do. He tries to stop you, but it's too late.
やめるんだ！強引に境地を突破などしたら、魔に身を落としてしまうぞ。
Mind and spirit as one. With these words, expel all evil. As you scream this spell, you feel something stirring within your veins. Your entire body grows hot, like something is attempting to break free.
これが誠の霊言術か。
The infernal cultivator's figure begins to blur. Still dissatisfied with the results, you cast the spell once more. The colliding magic and infernal energy produce massive gusts of winds that rush in all directions. With this, the infernal energy begins to weaken. But it still isn't enough. You need more spirit power. Mind and spirit as one. With these words, expel all evil. The moment this spell leaves your lips, you feel as if your soul is being ripped from your body.
それ以上は危険だ。今すぐやめなさい。
Master. Spirit power erupts outward, and you instantly lose all of your strength. Fortunately, Artem catches you before you collapse.
大丈夫か？
I just want you to be okay, Master. Master. You reach out to wipe the dirt from Artem's face, but your arm grows heavier and heavier. Soon it becomes impossible for you to lift it. With a shame, just a little more and you would have been able to wipe it off. This thought floats through your mind before you descend into complete darkness. How noisy! You're unsure where the sound of rain is coming from, but it seems never-ending. Even if you cover your eyes and curl up into a ball, that sound continues to ring in your head.
早く逃げるんだ。絶対に生き延びて。私たちのことなど忘れて強く生きるんだ。
Voices suddenly sound in this void before you feel someone shoving you from behind. Who is that? Who's talking? Before you have time to react, you stumble out of the darkness after being pushed. Outside the darkness, you see a dawn sky enveloped in heavy rain. Without any time to think, your body rushes ahead of your consciousness. Ghosts and shadows close on your heels. They reveal twisted smiles as they whisper your name.
どこへ逃げた？
The bamboo forest is wet and slippery, and you crash to the ground. Bitter mud splashes into your mouth, but you can't muster the strength to wipe it away. You fumble around and try to stand, but the footsteps pursuing you have ceased.
ようやく見つけたぞ。
The leader walks toward you slowly, holding a blade. Even with the heavy rain, the blood in his blade isn't washed away. It drips down to the ground along with the raindrops, dyeing the soil a crimson red.
逃げても無駄だ。おとなしくついてくるんだな。
His statement is cut short as a sword slices through the air. With incredible speed, the blade decimates everything in its path. As the infernal cultivator's head falls to the ground, the nearby bamboo stalks split in two. The man wielding the sword stands under the rain, like a divine immortal who descended to earth.
この剣は消失。
An infernal cultivator recognizes the sword. His once arrogant voice grew fearful.
まさかお前は一振りで天下を取ったという雲海一門の左京静馬か。
魔衆までもが私の名を知っているとはな。
His voice follows his sword as it slices through the air. Immortal, please save me. You know you won't get another chance like this. Sensing the infernal cultivator's fear, you immediately run toward this man named Artem. The infernal cultivators want to capture you, but they don't dare move closer out of their fear of Artem.
して天下人がこの地に一体何の用かな。
通りすがっただけだ。
それならもう言ってくれ。お前とやり合うのは面倒なんでな。
まだ話は終わっていない。通りすがっただけだが、ついでに魔を召していくとしよう。
With a wave of Artem's hand, his sword is about to fly through the bamboo forest. When the infernal cultivators see that Artem isn't taking the bait, he drops all pretense.
無欲で清らかな雲下の左京静馬がまさか霊幻術まで狙っているとはな。
Artem narrows his eyes as if he doesn't want to waste any more attention on the remaining infernal cultivators.
よく喋るやつだな。私がどう考えていようと、お前たちには関係ないだろう。
With that, Artem releases his final attack, not giving his opponent any time to react.
消失、切れ。
This sword's energy leaves everything it touches desolate and bleak. In the cycles of heaven, those who arbitrarily massacre others will eventually become lonely ghosts, falling to the blade themselves. The smell of blood is soon overpowered by the wind, and the bamboo forest goes silent. Autumn turns around to leave. Old house backyard. Immortal! Immortal! You chase Autumn from the muddy bamboo forest back to the corridor. The lantern light is bright as ever, but the once lively garden is now filled with the sound of howling wind and rain pouring down on the eaves. Your shouts are swallowed up one after another. Immortal, please stay! You grab onto his sleeve in a panic, staining the white fabric with mud. Rude as it is, you can't seem to let go of his dry, warm clothes.
何の用だ？
Immortal, please take me with you. Don't leave me here all alone. Terrified of being left alone again, you tightly clutch to the fabric in your hands. Nothing could ever make you let go. If you don't have any objections, I want to become your disciple. I want to stay by your side. Your racing mind finally comes up with a reasonable way you can stay with him.
君は本気でそう思っているのか？
He repeats what you said softly, revealing an embarrassed expression for the first time. But the entire time, he never pulls his sleeve back from you. Sunglass Landing. After the rain subsides, though Autumn doesn't take you on as his disciple, he takes you back to the cloud-bread site so you can stay at Sunglass Landing. Amidst these tranquil surroundings, that gut-wrenching rainy night that gradually becomes a memory, Autumn goes on to become the Kunwu True Lord, respected by all in the three realms. No one dared disturb you after that. Your time at Sunglass Landing was relaxing and carefree. Every day you wait at the gate for Autumn's returns. At first, he said it wasn't necessary, but he acquiesced with time. Later on, a table and some chairs suddenly appeared when you often wait for him. Why hasn't Artem come back yet? He always insists you shouldn't call him Kunwu True Lord. Instead, he prefers you call him by his real name. You peer outside the gate, but you still don't see his familiar silhouette. He sent a message saying he would definitely be back before nightfall today. If I remember correctly, Cloudbreak Mountain isn't far from Penglai. Did something go wrong while they were fighting the Kraken? Strange thoughts swirl around in your mind, and before you know it, you fall asleep. Huh? Oh, what's that smell? An odd scent pulls you out of the chaos.
すまない。起こしてしまったか？
Without you noticing, a flowering tree has been planted next to you. It is producing the aroma you just smelled. And under the tree, you see the person who has filled your thoughts. Artem, you're back.
ああ、待たせてすまない。
No, it's okay. What's going on with this tree?
鹿木という名の木だ。蓬莱の人間が教えてくれたんだが、この木は枯れることがなく、ずっと花を咲かせ続けるらしい。なかなかに珍しいから、君にもぜひ見せたいと思ってな。
The tree lives up to its name, its large blossoms blooming to perfection. From a distance, it looks like a fluffy pink cloud perched on the branches, like something from a fantastical dreamland. I see. It's so beautiful.
ああ、それから。
A breeze blows by as he pauses. Petals fall from the rustling flowers. The petals envelop you two like rainfall.
この花より長生きできる霊獣はいないそうだ。
What?
雲海一門の規則には、師匠が新しく弟子となった者に霊獣を送るという決まりがあるだろう。あれから考えてみたが、必ずしも霊獣である必要はない気がしてな。 だったら何年先でも君のそばで寄り添ってくれそうな、そんな存在がいいかと思ったんだ。
Artem, you think you understand what he's saying, but you just can't believe it.
ところで、どうしてまだ私を名前で呼んでいるんだ？それは弟子入りを拒否したいということか？
No, that's not it. You still can't believe it. Mulling over it again and again in your head, you finally see the word out loud. Master. He reaches out to gently brush away the petals that have fallen in your hair in response. You look into his smiling gaze, doing your best to suppress the words in your heart. However, you are unable to do so. Then, if the usual tree will always be with me, will you too, Master? Master, can you always stay by my side? He is about to answer, but you realize what you really want to say, concealed within your hesitant words. It's a question that has been growing inside your heart since the moment you met Artem in the rain at the bamboo forest, from the moment you realized you wanted to be by his side. If you were my master, and if I wasn't your disciple, could I always stay by your side? He seemingly wants to say something, but it's too late. The world begins to collapse and fade around you. Artem's face grows distorted, and although he is clearly seeing something, you can't make it out. You finally remember. The real you is confronting the infernal cultivators with Artem at your old house in the mortal realm. And all of this was just a brief illusion, a long dream. Master! You suddenly awaken. Before you even have time to observe your surroundings, you immediately begin searching for Artem.
姉弟子、目が覚めたんですね。
Kiki throws herself at you, crying tears of joy.
本当に証文の言った通りでした。今日、姉弟子が目覚めるだろうって。
Kiki? Only then do you realize you've already returned to the Cloudbreak site and you are at the Skyglow crest. How am I here? Where's my master? What happened?
落ち着いてください、姉弟子。私が全部説明しますから。まず、姉弟子を連れてきたのは今後しんくんです。意識を失っているところを見たときは本当に心配したんですからね。それから今後しんくんは証文に姉弟子を救ってくださいと頼み続けて、何があったのかと私たちも問い詰めたんですが、一切話してくれないんです。
Begging the head of the sack? Artem, the man who never relented, even when he was at a disadvantage facing off against the infinite cultivators?
そうです。どうして無理に境地を突破しようとしたんですか？あと一歩で姉弟子は総根術が効かなかったら今頃どうなってたか。それに総根術はとても危険な術で、あの今後しんくんですら闇に落ちる危険性があったんですよ。
ああ、その通りだ。だから私も左京の申し出には反対した。
Neil walks in, continuing where Kiki left off.
だが、あいつは一切意志を曲げようとせず、ただの一歩も譲らなかった。
Then, is my master okay?
心配しなくていい。君が目覚めている以上、あいつも無事だ。戻ってから休まず看病を続けていたから、少し前に私が穂塚と代わって休むよう言っておいた。
Master.
姉弟子、境地の突破、おめでとうございます。
Kiki is sincerely happy for you, but your heart still aches when you think about the pain you felt when you forced yourself to break through to the next realm. Neil looks at you meaningfully. There is an emotion in his usually calm gaze that you can't discern.
小塚、悪いが少し二人で話をさせてくれるか。
わかりました。では姉弟子、また後ほど伺います。
After Kiki leaves, Neil sits down across from you.
少し前にここで話をした時、私は人間界に行って修行を積めと言ったな。
Yes, everything happened just like you said it would. I found my path of cultivation in the mortal realm and successfully broke through to the next realm.
だが今となってはそのままでいた方が君のためだったかもしれないと思っている。超限の境地に達し、霊言術の真髄に触れた今、君は後戻りが許されない状態となった。
He accurately voices your thoughts, but there seems to be a deeper meaning in his words. The mystery behind spirit language magic?
ああ、霊言術は無限の術とも呼ばれるもので、術者の見た夢をそのまま現実に置き換えることができる。その際の消耗霊力は、夢と現実がどれだけ乖離しているかで決まる。つまり、現実離れした夢であればあるほど、霊力を消耗するということだ。人間界に向かったとき、君はまだ周長の境地にいた。にもかかわらず、幻惑薬の効果を打ち消し、あの場にいた魔衆すべての抹消を試みた。
The disparity was too large. I didn't have enough spirit power, so I forced myself to break through to the next realm and went mad.
ああ、その通りだ。
Now that it's come through this, the problem is inescapable. I've ascended to the Chao Yuan realm now. I have more spirit power than before, so I want to handle the infernal sovereign's resurrection.
そうだな。だが、それでも現実離れしていることに変わりはないだろ
う。Master Neil, what do you mean? Will it consume all of my spirit power?
そうだ。君の全霊力を使っても失敗するかもしれない。
Absorbs all of my spirit power? Then that means... You don't dare voice it. Putting life and death aside to be truly courageous isn't as simple as that.
情けないことに、ここまで言っておきながら、君の霊言術が最善択であることに変わりはない。
どうして最善なんですか？
You hear Artem's voice before you see him. When you finally lay eyes on him, you feel somewhat conflicted. He brushes his sleeves aside and sits down next to you, flower petals resting on his shoulders. He clearly rushed here from the Sunglow's landing.
正門、お言葉ですが、方法なら他にもあります。それに、彼女一人に全てを任せるのは危険です。せめて本人に選択肢を与えるべきかと。
He looks over at you, voicing your confused thoughts in just a few words.
世を守るためだったとしても、彼女を犠牲にするのは違うでしょ
う。それが定めというものだ。我々には変えようがない。
随分と不条理な定めですね。では、私がそれを変えてみせます。
世界を守ることは我々修行者の使命だ。
彼女だって守られるべき側の存在ですよ。
Artem speaks every word with a decisive gaze. Your heart begins beating wildly in response to his words. It's harder to hide than any pounding in your chest you've felt before.
少なくとも私が守る世界に彼女は必要不可欠です。
そのためなら死んでも構わないと？
Neil's tone is somewhat strange. It is part question, part statement.
はい。たとえ魂が消失しようと、 その結果を得られるなら悔いはありません。
He answers readily without any hesitation. It's as if he has considered it thousands of times, but his answer has never changed. Just like he once said, you didn't have to go with him, but ultimately the two of you reached the same destination on different paths. Sunglows Landing.
まだ師匠の言葉で悩んでいるのか？
The disagreement between Artem and Neil wasn't resolved, but it didn't need to be. After some silence, you and Artem returned to Sunglows Landing. If one of us has to die, I would rather it be.
自分であってほしいと、そういうつもりか？
The breeze tousles Artem's hair, making it nearly impossible for him to hide the emotion in his eyes. If it's not me, then it's you. I don't want you to die, Master. Instead of the noble desire to protect the common people, this is still the only thing on your mind.
私では務まらないと。どれだけの力があろうと、君が一人で犠牲になるところを黙って見ているなんて。そんな残酷なことを言わないでくれ。
Flowers drift through the air like clumps of snow. Artem raises his hand with a strange look in his eyes. You think he's about to do something. But in the next moment, he returns to normal, gently brushing a flower off your shoulder. The intense look in his eyes is similar to the day he accepted you as his disciple. Back then, you were so full of happiness, convinced you would always have a reason to stand by his side. But now it feels like you're saying goodbye, even though neither of you wants to say it out loud.
それに、私のそばにいてくれるという約束はどうなるんだ？
How did you? That is something you asked Artem in your dream world. How is he aware of it in reality?
総根術とは、魂を持って魂を探し出す術だ。意識のある者の魂が直接入っていかないと、さまよえる魂に干渉することはできない。君を呼び起こす際、私たちの魂は触れ合っていたんだ。
So you heard everything. You never imagined your hidden thoughts would be exposed like this. Your heart sinks, but you don't dare look into Artem's eyes again.
ああ。君がああ言ってくれたとき、ちょうど私も君の魂を見つけてな。あの時は答えることができなかったが、君は今でもまだ答えを聞きたいか？
He quietly recites a spell, and the plum blossom branch appears in his hands again. It looks to be thriving, showing that someone has been carefully caring for it.
この白梅にかかった幻惑薬はすでに取り除いてある。よかったら受け取ってくれないか？
Artem's attitude isn't assertive whatsoever, but it's still incredibly difficult to hold back the thoughts that are threatening to spill out. Of course I do. Sunglows Landing. Before you can take the plum blossoms from Artem, a loud noise sounds at the mountain gate. Then the ground begins to shake beneath your feet. What's going on? Concentrated infernal energy begins to condense in the sky nearby. It looks like a black cloud bearing down on the city, ready to devour and destroy everything in an instant.
魔族の襲来だ。魔尊の復活が近づいているのだろう。このところ、奴らの活動も活発になってきているそうだ。
Cloudbreak Mountain Gate. You and Artem rush to the mountain gate without skipping a beat. Things are already far more serious than you imagined. The disciples have arranged themselves to face off against the infernal cultivators. but their opponents' attacks are relentless, putting them at a disadvantage.
マソンからの伝言だ。霊言術を使える奴を連れて帰ったら手厚い褒美を与えるってよ。
The approaching infernal cultivators grow even more agitated when they see you.
消失。
Artem summons his sword. It cuts through the air, creating a wave that knocks the infernal cultivators to the ground. Their onslaught momentarily ceases, allowing the disciples to finally catch their breath.
どうしてここに？
The infernal cultivators are here. How could we not come?
黙ってるわけにはって。相手の目的は姉弟子なんですよ。早く隠れてください。
少し前に霊言術を行使したことで相手を本気にさせたらしいな。
姉弟子も早く逃げてください。ここは私たちが何とかしますから。
They're here for me. How could I push this responsibility onto you all? After regrouping, the infernal cultivators strike again. Their blood-curdling shouts surround you.
目的が姉弟子なのは間違いないですが、狙われてるのは人間界全体です。姉弟子個人の責任じゃありませんよ。
Kiki is no longer as excitable and willful as before. Her words are completely serious now. Everyone looks over. Some of them attended classes at the Sun's Glow with you. Some had only passed you in the corridor. But at this moment, they are all standing in front of you like an impenetrable wall.
雲海一門の弟子たちよ。私と共に魔のものを狩り尽くすぞ。
The resounding "Yes, Master" that follows shakes the earth and reverberates in your chest. Artem stands in front of everyone brandishing his sword, and you follow him. I told you, I'll always be by your side. The attacking infernal cultivators move closer and closer. Artem looks at you and nods. His razor-sharp sword shines with dazzling light, reflecting in his eyes. Infernal energy rises up in the sky, opening up like the mouth of a massive dragon. It seems like it intends on swallowing everything whole. Artem raises his blade and splits it with a single movement, directly going for your opponent. The fight rages on, hot blood splashing on your faces. Before you even have time to wipe it off, more infernal cultivators rush forward. How do more of them keep coming? It's like they don't fear death at all.
このままでは皆の体に限界が訪れ、いずれ隙を突かれるだろ
う。While you and Artem are talking, you spot an exhausted disciple on the front line who is about to collapse. You immediately use spirit language magic to block an attack from striking him. If that happens, we're all doomed. What should we do?
霊言術を使って一気に片付けるしかないだろう。
Neil finally rushes over, his expression solemn. But there are so many. Even if I use up all my spirit power, I'm afraid.
一人では難しいだろう。だが、私が加わればどうだ。
師匠、いけません。
After hearing Neil's suggestions, Artem uses all of his strength to deal a massive attack, buying you some time to talk. Master Neil, we can't do that. I will die if I use up my spirit power. That means you'll also...
今は一門の滅亡がかかった瀬戸際だ。犠牲になろうと文句は言えぬ。左京の実力は私とそう変わらない。剣を交えれば私が負けることもあるだろう。皆、後のことは左京に任せる。
師匠、まだその時ではありません。それに、仮にその時が来たとしても、私が。
左京よ。お前はここで立ち止まるべきではない。天の定めを信じず、 常に歩むべき道を己で切り開いてきた。お前のその勇気は称賛に値する。故により先へと進むべきなのだ。気にするな左京。厄災のことを知ったあの日から私がこうなることは分かっていたからな。
Neil frowns and stretches his palm out to you. As a warm sensation immediately begins bubbling through your body, his face begins to grow pale.
悲しむ必要はない。君には君の使命があるように私にも使命があるのだ。雲下一門の証文として弟子たちを守りきるというな。
師匠。
Artem's words are swallowed up by the endless sounds of combat. He doesn't say more, simply standing in front of you and Master Neil to fight off another wave of attacks from the infernal cultivators.
そろそろだ。術を唱えなさい。
You wipe your face, trying not to dwell on your raging emotions and calling upon your spirit power instead. Mind and spirit as one, with these words, obliterate all evil, decimate all infernal spirits. Spirit power that once belonged to Neil spews forth. Some infernal cultivators become aware of that, but it's too late for them to escape. Savage, brutal screams echo throughout the air. The infernal energy that once covered the sky gradually disperses, allowing sunlight to pour down on you all. After using up all of his spirit power, Neil swims amidst the warm golden light before he suddenly collapses.
行け。守りたいものをすべて守るために。
Clouds float by overhead and the wind has subsided, but the air is deathly silent. You clearly succeeded, but this is somehow more tragic than losing. Skyglow crest. Artem is chosen as the new head of the site after Neil passes away, and you follow him to Skyglow crest to handle the remaining affairs. A life has been lost, and many things have changed since you last came to this familiar location. Artem's expression remains calm, and while you know he is no longer dwelling on the past, he still hasn't let go. He will never let go, always remembering Master Neil in his own way. You are respectful of this, simply accompanying him in silence.
師匠は本当は何もかも分かっていたんだろうな。
As you and Artem sort through the books Master Neil left behind, you discover that he'd recorded the results of every instance of divination he ever performed. His sacrifice is also clearly recorded here. Huh, what's this? As you arbitrarily flip through a book, a certain record catches your attention. This hexagram is from the year you and Artem first met, and he was the target of the divination session. The chance to break through can be found in the mortal realm. After this, what's done is done. Amidst heavy rain in the bamboo, life and death are destined. The hexagram is vague, but you can faintly discern that it has something to do with you. Was there more to your encounter with Artem than met the eye?
ついに全てを打ち明ける時が来たか。
Artem's eyes are deep as he talks about a past that has long since been buried. Inside the complete silence of Skyglow Crest, Artem looks at the results his master divined, finally making a decision.
師匠、やはり行こうと思います。たとえ生死を決定づけることになったとしても、私は。
左京、焦る気持ちはわかるが、お前はまだ若い。これからいくらでも境地を突破する機会はある。この試練がお前の生死を決めてしまうということの意味を本当に分かっているのか？
はい、分かっています。生き続けることになろうと、死ぬことになろうと、その結果が天から与えられたものではなく、自分で選んだものであると信じていますので、それにその人物と出会うことが突破の足がかりになるのだとしたら、 この機会を見逃すわけにはいきません。
Master Neil speaks earnestly, but Artem already has his mind set.
まったく相変わらずこうと決めたら曲げないやつだな。
師匠が私を気遣ってくださっているのはよく理解しています。
はあ、お前は弟子の中で最も才にあふれていたが、なかなか境地を突破できずにいた。だからあの時占いを使って少しでも好転させようと思ったんだが、それがこんな結果になるとはな。
師匠、安心してください。先が見えたということは、そうならないよう回避することもできるということです。
それができれば言うことはないな。
そしてあらゆる偶然が重なり、私はあの竹林へと足を踏み入れた。
So, your breakthrough really happened because of me?
ああ、君と出会う前にも何度か人間界を旅してきたが、人々の人生を観察しても何かを悟ることはなかったからな。
Before this, you had never talked about that night with Artem so specifically. You don't dare look away for fear of missing a single
あの時
detail.
の君は泥にまみれ、頼れる人もおらず、よろめきながら私に向かってくるしかなかった。一方私はどう反応すればいいかわからず、ただ手にある剣を握りしめるしかなかった。その上、緊張のせいか、師匠から聞いた占いの話も、待ち受けている運命のことも、生死にまつわる予言のことも、すべて頭から飛んでしまってな。だから、何も考えずに、ただ一つの思いで行動したのは、それが初めてのことだったと思う。
He pauses briefly, and your breath catches in your throat for a moment.
君のような不幸な人が現れないよう、この世の不正を剣で正し、君のこれからの人生に二度と冷たい雨を降らせないようにしたい。とな。
Seeking a breakthrough, Artem came down to the mortal world, went to the bamboo forest during a heavy rainstorm at daybreak, and saved you. This led to an epiphany, allowing him to break through to the next realm. And as things turned out, you also encountered a similar opportunity for the same reasons. Strange are the machinations of destiny. Your stories are like mirror reflections of one another, but also like two entangled shadows. That's why you didn't take me on as your disciple for a long time. It was because of this hexagram.
ああ、本当ならあの竹林で私は君を突き放すべきだったのだろう。だが君は私の服を掴んでいて、だから仕方なく雨風をしのげる場所を用意して、その後のことは追って考えることにしたんだ。
Everything has an explanation. That's why Master Neil asked that question.
そのためなら死んでも構わないと。
Master Neil's tone is somewhat strange. It is part question, part statement.
はい。たとえ魂が消失しようと、その結果を得られるなら悔いはありません。
He wasn't really confirming Artem's decision. He was simply reminding him of the ending that had already been determined. He realized his own disciple was on a path toward his death, but there was nothing he could do. Then, Master, why did you change your mind? He should have pulled his clothes away from you, should have turned you down. There were countless days and nights when he could have sent you away. He could have chosen to leave, but he...
どうしてか。
Sunglass Landing. Artem doesn't answer your question directly. Instead, he takes you back to Sunclose Landing. The garden is covered in fallen flowers. When the wind blows, it stirs them like ripples in water. Artem, why? You knew how this would end, but you still chose to keep me here. You don't call him master, choosing to call him by his name like you did in the beginning. You should have asked him this question back then.
君を突き放すことができなかったからだ。それまでの私は確かにどれだけ孤独だろうと問題なかった。だが、蓬莱から帰ってきた日、君が一人で。
He points into the distance without any hesitation, identifying the exact location.
そこだ。そこで待ってくれていただろう。疲れているはずなのに、どこにも行かず、その場で眠ってしまうまで。その姿を見て気づいたんだ。待ってくれる人がいるのも悪くないのだと。いつかの日に、君は私のそばにいたいと言ってくれたが。
He softly calls out your name, his eyes locked with yours, not allowing you to look away.
実際のところは、私の方が君を手放せないでいるんだ。もし死刑となれば、君がそばにいてくれる。私は気づくと、迷わずその道を選んでいた。
Artem?
いや、これだけでは伝わらないな。私が言いたいのは、君が弟子でなかろうと、私が死でなかろうと、私は君のそばにいたいと思っている。
After all this time, the questions that have been buried deep within your heart are finally answered. Even though this road was paved with blood and tears, you are still immensely lucky. You never had to scale that cliff, for the view at the precipice was all right in front of you. But the hexagram? As we get closer, it can only end in death.
だから何だと言うんだ。証文が告げたものだとしても、所詮は数多くある可能性の一つでしかない。私にとって占いとは、そういうものだ。とはいえ、今は占いの通りの人生でもいいと思っている。もしも近い将来、共に命を落とすことになっても。
Artem bends down. As he moves closer to you, he blocks the sea of flowers behind him.
それはつまり、最後まで離れずに済むということだろう。
Living and dying together, I didn't know it could be interpreted so beautifully. As petal is about to fall on his lips, you move first. You grip his sleeve before closing your eyes. Artem immediately understands, holding your hand through the fabric. Your fingers entwine, and an unstoppable heat overcomes you, causing your eyes to swing. This connection is a wonderful thing, but the more passionate your feelings, the more...
どうして泣いているんだ？
Artem touches his forehead to yours, softly wiping away your every tear with his fingertips. His gentle motions remind you of your looming duty, while the happiness you feel inevitably causes your mind to wander. The infernal sovereign is about to resurrect, ushering in the calamity. Everyone in the world, just as happy as you are now, will have their joy cut short. I know what I have to do. I don't have any other choice, and I won't choose anything else. This path was destined from the moment he helped you realize your desire to help the world in the bamboo forest. From the time he did everything in his power, through all of his words and actions, to give you more choices. You said protecting the common people is difficult, so how could I let you do it alone? I want to protect the world we live in with you.
もはや一人で背負える重責ではなくなったようだな。
He shakes his head slightly and chuckles.
私にはもう肩を並べて戦ってくれる人がいるらしい。
Then promise me, no matter what happens, you'll never let go of my hand. You never want him to stand in front of you alone, leaving you by yourself in this world. You don't say this out loud, fearing it might become reality. Even so, Artem sees through it.
約束しよう。だが、師弟という関係では難しいな。私は最も強固で長く続く、そんな絆を結びたいと思っている。
What do you mean?
ああ、私の妻になってほしい。
But
もちろん今すぐでなくてもいい。我々には準備が必要だからな。マソンを倒し、全てが落ち着いたら、この物価楽で人間がするように式を挙げるとしよう。君が憧れていたような立派な式を用意して、私の生涯を賭して君を守ると、そう誓わせてくれ。
those who follow the way of cultivation don't typically go through these ceremonial procedures when becoming cultivation partners. Artem's statements clearly show you how much he cherishes you. Perhaps he wants to use this to temporarily relieve your unease and anxiety. Then, alright, I'll wait for that day.
それは承諾したと受け取っていいのか。なら誓いの見届け人として立会人も必要になるな。
Artem raises your clasped hands and condenses spirit power in his fingertips.
鹿木の木は永遠に枯れることがない。立会人としてこれ以上ふさわしいものもないだろう。
The spirit power follows his intentions, traveling along the trunk of the tree. It carves, or rather harmoniously blends in the words into the woods. May our souls meet in a dream?
道がどれだけ険しくても、どれだけ長い時間がかかっても、必ずお互いを探し出し、寄り添って生きていく。
Artem then leaves his palm print next to these words.
これは誓いの印。永遠に変わることのない私の気持ちだ。
With this signature tree as our witness, I swear. Feeling moved, you reach out and place your left palm on the wood. Countless petals dance as they fall to the ground. Though the inscription of the tree may fade someday, it will never truly vanish. Mind and spirit as one, with these words, my heart will remain unchanged. You don't use any spirit power for this spell whatsoever. You already know it will come to fruition without any external assistance. Cloudbreak Mountain Gate. The day of the Infernal Sovereign's resurrection is slowly approaching. You and Artem have a very little time to get ready for everything. By the time everything is prepared, the day has come for you and Artem to set off for the Infernal Realm.
消耗姉弟子どうか私たちも連れて行ってください
A group of disciples led by Kiki chases you down outside the mountain gate. They know that you most likely won't return from this trip, but they are still determined to join you.
必要ない。今回は私と彼女の二人だけで十分だ。
人間界を守ることは私たちの使命でもあります。力になりたいんです。
Fellow disciples, protecting the world is more than justice. Even though most of the infernal cultivators have been defeated, there are still some remaining who are sowing chaos. And the Cloud Red Side's forces have been dramatically reduced. We are short of hands.
姉弟子
As Kiki calls your name, you suddenly realize it was only a month ago when you were using a voice projection spell to chat during morning classes. Now that feels like a lifetime ago.
わかりました。では、こちらのことは私たちに任せてください。お二人の勝利を信じています。絶対無事に帰ってきてくださいね。
You and Artem nod before turning to leave. It's as if you are simply going on a long trip and you will be back in no time. Demon Realm. Without any further delay, you and Artem immediately make your way to the Infernal Realm. Though there are no more Infernal cultivators along the way, the Infernal energy has not diminished whatsoever. You and Artem both see this as a cause of concern.
おそらくだが、すでに魔尊の肉体は再生が終わり、目覚めの時を待って。
まさか貴様たちの方から出向いてくるとはな。探す手間が省けた。礼を言う。
A terrifying voice sounds from the void. As the infernal energy gradually grows heavier, a fracture appears out of thin air, and a massive figure emerges from it. As soon as you lay eyes on it, you feel pressure bearing down on you. Artem swings his sword through the air, putting you much more at ease.
貴様は誰だ？なかなかにできるようだが。
Artem doesn't respond. After confirming that you are fine with the low, he straightens up and locks eye with you.
彼女の両親、私の師匠、それから雲海一門の弟子たちに罪なき人の民。お前のせいであまりに多くの血が流れたが、それも今日までだ。
Brilliant light blooms on Artem's blade, desolation. He raises the sword, slashing at the infernal sovereign with all of his strength. Naturally, you move to help him. Mind and spirit as one, with these words, may this blow strike true. With the blessing of your spirit language magic, the energy around Artem's sword grows even more powerful, heading directly for the infernal sovereign's face. This attack shakes the earth to its very core, moving so fast that time seems to stand still. The infernal sovereign blocks the attack with his spear. The sharp sound of metal on metal makes your heart clench. Mind and spirit as one, with these words, be invisible. Seeing as this attack already commanded most of your strength, you have to take this chance to claim victory. You suddenly cast another spell to release even more spirit power. The infernal sovereign furrows his brow slightly. In contrast to his previously relaxed expression, he grows more serious.
随分と息が合ってるな。目覚まりだ。
The infernal sovereign slowly inches his spear toward you and Artem. The standoff topples in an instant. Strong winds follow the spear, sweeping you and Artem away and leaving you with nowhere to hide. As expected, the infernal sovereign is far more powerful than you two. Mind and spirit as one, with these words.
よすんだ。これ以上霊力を無駄にするな。風を止まれ。
With a wave of Artem's hand, his long blade sinks into the ground. Like a tree taking root, it finally puts an end to your stumbling.
やはり、まずは貴様から消さればな。
The infernal sovereign lets out a long roar, infernal energy engulfing the spear in his hand like a fiery black flame. Artem is his target.
今だ。
Artem raises his sword as he turns to face the infernal sovereign. With his back to you, the message is clear. Casting spirit language magic takes some time, and he is fighting for you now. He's planning on using his own body as your shield. Mind and spirit as one, with these words. I call upon the celestial radiance to rid this world of evil.
緒だな。
Immediately detecting this, the infernal sovereign aims his spear and rushes towards you. Artem dashes over as well, but he doesn't have time to block the attack with his sword. When the blood splashes on your face, you recall the morning class that day at the sun's glow for some reason. Perhaps he did too. His sleeve brushes against yours. Though his expression is calm, he knows what is happening. He continues forward as if blissfully unaware. But in the end, he stops. The spear sinks into his chest, stopping just an inch from you. Mind and spirit is one. With these words, I call upon the illuminating path of cultivation to rid this world of evil. You cast the spell once more, unreservedly using all the spirit power in your body.
この虫けらどもは、よくもまあ考えたものだな。
As spirit power flows out widely, your consciousness begins to waver. Even so, you continue silently reciting the spell. The path of cultivation is ever illuminating, ridding this world of evil. That is the wish of all who follow it.
虫けらだろうと木を揺らすことくらいはできる。
The infernal sovereign's screams grow more and more miserable. His silhouette begins to blur, indicating that your spirit language magic is successful.
だがそれでも、私はいずれまた人間界に君臨することになる。
No, you're going to be completely eradicated. You'll never be able to resurrect again. The infernal sovereign begins to wail in pain. You are no longer able to stand as the last drop of spirit power leaves your body and you fall to the ground. But this time, no one can catch you. You muster all of your strength to move closer to Artem. Artem, you promise. Still wet blood drips from his fingertips and you are only inches away from his palm. You said you will never let go of my hand. As the infernal sovereign vanishes, it releases an explosion of infernal energy. A wave of heat crashes into you and you lose consciousness, unable to hold any longer. Amidst the blood-red sunglow, you feel as if you've broken free from a nightmare. You open your eyes to find yourself in a familiar place. Wasn't I in the infernal realm? How am I back at Sunglow's Landing? What's going on? Artem! Where's Artem? Vibrant red appears before your eyes, and even you are wearing red wedding attire. You search around in a panic before realizing everything is different. The Jija tree in the courtyard is covered in red silk. It billows in the breeze as violet mist floats by. You can't wait any longer, your pace quickening. Artem! The person waiting for you under the tree smiles. Dressed in red, he looks over as he hears your footsteps. It's clearly the first time you're seeing this image, but it feels like you've already waited eons for it to happen.
目が覚めたか。
He opens his arm, welcoming you, along with all of your doubt and worry. You both sit on the ground, the red fabric of your clothes intertwining. You hold onto his hand, unwilling to let go. All of this, what's going on? Were we in the infernal realm? I thought you...
覚えているか。霊言術の力の本質は夢を現実にする力だ。そして私たちはまさに今霊言術が生み出した夢の中にいる。
A dream? But how did we get here? Was it the Jija tree? You think back to the oath you and Artem took in front of the Jija tree and the spirit language spell you cast.
その通りだ。君が長い間 霊力を注いで育ててきたことで、この木は君の一部のような存在になっていたらしいな。それで、全ての霊力を使って魔尊を消そうとしていた時、この木の霊力が君の願いに応えた。もちろん、霊力の総量はたかが知れているが、それでも、士気を上げるには十分だろう。
He holds your face in his hands as he carefully explains everything. Get married?
ことが落ち着いたら、ぶっからくで結婚すると約束しただろう。
But we're just in a dream. After this...
怖いのか？
Artem slowly tightens his grip on your hand, making you feel a slight sense of persistence.
いつかこの夢が消えて、現実に戻る時が来たとしても、君といられるこの時間のためなら、他の全てを捨ててもいいと思っている。
Becoming cultivation partners, you thought it will never actually happen, but somehow, here you are. It's like Artem said, even if the happiness and beauty of this moment only lasts for a second, it is an eternity for you and him. How clever fate and destiny can be. You hold back tears as you smile, looking at your lover. Then, a bride should put on makeup before she gets married. I haven't had any time to get ready.
心配しなくても、君はこの世の何よりも美しい花嫁だ。私が保証しよう。ただ。
He conjures an eyebrow pencil, moving in closer.
人間界の一部では、夫となる者が妻の眉を描くこともあるらしいな。
Artem's hand gently brushes against the side of your face. Without saying anything, you understand what he wants to do. Then, why should you draw them nicely for me?
ああ、任せてくれ。
He is extremely careful, drawing on and blending each and every stroke. You can't help imagining every morning for the rest of your life beginning like this. Artem, do you know why some couples enjoy this?
わからないな。教えてくれるか？
He stops for a moment, his fingertips intertwining with the hair around your temples. However, you have no intention of untangling them. Because this way, you can see what you really look like in the eyes of the other person.
本当にそれだけなのか？愛する人の眉を描いていると、自然と見つめ合うことになる。だから、言葉を交わさなくても気持ちが伝わる。とかではないのか？
Oh, then you must know what I'm going to say next, right? A floral aroma wafts between you and him, and you stare at your reflection in his irises. It is so small, but it is everything in his eyes.
花盛りの満月の夜、私は良縁に恵まれた。この先で、いくら年老いようと、私は君と共にありたいと願うだろう。私の妻になって、ずっとそばにいてくれないだろうか。当ててみよう。君ならきっと、うなずいてくれる。
You really... The flowers dance in the breeze as the petals fall like raindrops. Artem slowly lowers his head, interrupting your response. Was Zhuangzhou dreaming of the butterfly, or was the butterfly dreaming of the Zhuangzhou? As it turns out, who and where you are doesn't really matter at all. Seeing as you have someone to share it with, why not indulge in this beautiful dream in every lifetime, day after day, night after night?
聞こえるか？うん。水鏡術は初だが、悪くはないな。それで新居の方は何週で見つかったか？ 決まったならいい。鹿木の世話をしたら一緒に準備しよう。ああ、雲海さんは変わった。長く夢に過ぎたせいで、世間は大きく変わったらしい。一門が亡くなった後、人々はここに雲海寺という寺を建てた。今は平和になり、人々も豊かで、神に頼ることも減ったから、少しだけ寂れてるがな。その表情、落ち込んでないか心配してるのか？ここへ来るまでは不安だったが、来てからは逆に落ち着いた。ここにはもう今後神君の痕跡はない。過去は消え、私が守る必要も今はない。気にすべきは目の前の君と私たちのことだ。うん。やりたいことは多い。中でも今は君と白桃東会を開きたい。人間界で式を挙げるんだろ？なら全てやり遂げないと。約束を果たしたとは言えない。これから先、何周で永住するか、心の赴くままに旅をするか。君の望むままに舵を取ろう。そして疲れたら、また戻ってくればいい。その時は、庭にある鹿木が、もう一度、咲くかもしれない。